plays Ophelia. I know that the original lineup at least doesn't play Ophelia that much. So maybe it's one of the ringers that's actually able to play Ophelia. Maybe this EU bro guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, first pick Ophelia at least. Versus a Magnus Bubbles already. That's plenty of counter pushing from the Legion team, at least if they get their portal keys. So I think that Myst are looking to make it a quick game with a lot of pushability. And there's the Rhapsody as well. So yeah, they're probably going to group up even at level 3, maybe level 5 onto that Ophelia as soon as she gets 2-level creeps, I think. There's the Parasite though. That's a really strong counter to that Ophelia.
Yeah, it tends to be the case. But why? Well... Why Parasite? Why Parasite instead of Cthulhu font? Like, is there value? Obviously, there's value for one or the other.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could have gone for the Cthulhu font as well. It's Parasite. I mean, has a little bit more of a late game presence almost, or he's like more gank oriented, so he can move around the map a little bit more successfully usually in the early game. I mean, if you get a Wild Hunter, for example, you can set up kills. Cthulhu font doesn't really have the same option. Of course, you can try to rotate around and try to get into from a nice angle and all that, but Parasite Bubbles, for example, I feel like they are more likely to get kills early on than a Cthulhu and Bubbles would have been. And of course, Parasite also goes for that push ability himself when he's sitting in a catapult, while Cthulhu is more about soaking up damage in teamfights.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So it's probably just because they want to have a very gank-oriented lineup with Magnus, Bubbles, Parasite, a lot of mobility in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those 3 heroes alone definitely really scream that for sure. So, complexity going that style, which again isn't necessarily always their play style, but working with it here. Warbeast coming out from Mystery Gang, and you look at how they're shaping up here. That's it. That screams push.
It screams push, yes. Suicide Warbeast, I would assume. I would love to see the Soul Reaper banned here. I think that is like the one hero that they really need to be afraid of. If you're complexity, that is, because you can heal up both the Ophelia creeps as well as the Warbeast wolves. Normally, this was the kind of push that you ran with the Keeper of the Forest instead of the Warbeast, simply because he had more minions before he got reworked. But still, 2 wolves. I mean, that's still 2 heals, and should be able to now with the Battle Cry ability as well add a lot of pressure to those towers.
Exactly. Battle Cry obviously affecting the Ophelia minions as well, and if you're complexity here, I am a little surprised they're not banning out heroes like Balfagor even, or kind of push.
I don't think they're, yeah, I guess they could pick up the Balfagor and go for Forest. I think that Sync Esports have done that at some time when they went for those all-in push lineups. They had Balfagor in the Forest and Warbeast on Suicide or something like that.
Well, they have Ophelia, so I was thinking more like you could probably still like Balfagor short lane though. We've seen that before too in heavy push lineups, but
I think they need a little bit more ranged abilities as well, though, like the Soul Reaper, like I mentioned, and a solid stun. Of course, they need in the mid. They need some way to initiate on the enemy team. Like, you cannot pick up, for example, a Prisoner here if you're the Hellborn team, because then you're going to have no way to catch the people that are actually behind the towers that you're pushing. Like, if you pick up a Magnus instead, though, that has a lead stun, then you're able to keep him alive and just add a lot more pressure onto complexity.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, complexity got Magnus in this case, but there should still be a few other options for the Hellborn team. Something with a solid initiation is what they need at least.
Well, yeah, but that's what I was kind of getting with complexity. How they didn't ban any kind of just really push heavy heroes. The Doctor, Puppet, Pebbles. It's almost like they're not even really too worried about overall that idea. Granted, I guess, Puppet and Doctor, both heroes that definitely you would see him kind of more of as the carry options, as maybe more of a push-heavy lineup. But, things like Soul Reaper come to mind in this case. These very niche heroes that tend to be played when you're looking at this push style. So, we'll see what direction Mystery Gang goes in here ultimately. You don't necessarily need to really continue it. I mean, Warbeast, Ophelia, and Rhapsody alone obviously bring a lot to the table. It's just a matter of how extreme do you want to take it here when it comes to that idea. So, do you want the fallback? Do you want something like maybe like a Corrupted Disciple? Seems like he tends to fit fairly well in these kind of lineups too. But
yeah, that's definitely a good point. I think that Corrupted Disciple would fit the lineup well. They do have the Rhapsody heal, I guess. That should be enough until they get Astro timing onto Ophelia. But yeah, I definitely think that it is gonna be the Soul Reaper. I feel the Soul Reaper. Yeah, they're gonna go for Gauntlet here as well. So he got that initiation if he hits the hook. I know that Yisman's plays a really good Gauntlet. Haven't seen it too much lately though because that hero has just fallen off the scene. I guess that's because of the reason that it just doesn't provide too much when it comes to the late game.
Yeah, but I love seeing Gauntlet. This is going to be fun. Not a hero we see it. We have seen a. In fact, we haven't really not seen him in a long time. We didn't see him at DreamHack, even slightly before that for a bit. I want to say so. Yeah, it has been a while since we.
I think it was. I can't remember the team name actually. It was those Chowli and Super Kiji, Hax, Ren, those guys when they were playing in the DreamHack qualifiers. Okay. I know that Super Kiji played it a few times at least.
Yeah.
But that's like that's just because it's a signature hero of his as well. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, yeah, we haven't seen it in a long time.
You see Quincy right there, kind of taking that away. I mean, the ones that we've covered, I guess, or did we cover that match even? I do not remember. No, I
didn't cover it at least.
Yeah, I do not remember a Gauntlet here on podcast at least, but. Anyways, but yeah, not one we see too often. And you are right, Just Man does have the history, definitely recognize it. They were right-clicking the artillery over there for a little bit. And, part of me wouldn't be surprised with that because it is more of a push-style lineup here. And they have ran it before, but now they're doing artillery would be fun to see.
With the rework and all, I mean, it should be pretty powerful when it comes to pushing. They're going to go with Nomad instead, okay.
And then they decided with Nomad in the end. What?
Is it a safely Nomad? Yeah, I guess it is.
Interesting. Now, why the Nomad, though? Because Nomad's not a counter-push hero. He's I'm going to pick people off by myself, left and right, do crazy burst damage hero.
Well, he is a strong 1-versus-1er, I guess, versus other melee heroes, if that's what they're aiming for here. To just have him versus the Warbeast in a 1-versus-1 situation. I don't know how well he would do. I think the Wolves would still... Or I would even give the edge to Warbeast in a 1-versus-1 situation. So, yeah, curious to see Nomad here. Maybe it's just a little bit of a semi-serious pickup as well. Maybe they wanted to try something new, and they were like, yeah, I mean, this is a tournament game after all. But,
yeah, I don't know. Complexity does seem like, though, they usually have a good plan, though. And so I'm sure Formless, that they've even practiced this before, I want to say, but...
What was it that they played versus Reason Gaming in the round of 8 up at the top? They played Shadowblade, and then they played yet another carry that was a little bit...
Oh, you mean the round of 4? So the first round?
Round of 4, yeah.
Shadowblade, and then, yes. What else did they play? I forget.
I mean, it was something that was a little bit odd, at least. Some kind of carry that we don't see.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Not too crazy. But, yeah, the Shadowblade was definitely a little different, so you're all right there. Yeah, he's been very... So, yeah, Swift played the first game here, and now Nomad. Wait, Quincy, you were saying... Was this actually the first time we see Nomad on record? It is a new hero? It's one of the very few left? We've really never seen a Nomad before? Wow. Huh.
It's... maybe I see why they wanted him in this game, because they don't have any AoE stunts on the Hellborn side. That could be one thing. Because normally it's really easy to shut down a Nomad. We just with, for example, a Magma Stun. Just Lava Surge in. He's really squishy, and you just pick him off. But as long as you use the Sandstorm ability now, like the Hellborn team, they're not going to be able to catch him.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Nomad's a fun hero. Again, being a hero that we never see on the competitive scene, just a couple of things that I do like about him is the Sandstorm, because you get to sing Darude and reminds you of that great song there. No, but the ability itself is actually it's a pretty strong, team fight ability. Obviously great for getting away as well as chasing. The Mirage Strike though, very interesting. Not only for the burst damage that it brings, and obviously the illusion strike. I don't even know what it's called, the illusory strike or something like that. Anyways, is the Mirage Strike? Yeah, True Strike. Anyways, it refreshes, though. I like that idea, how it refreshes if you get a kill with it. So it's pretty cool stuff there. And then the Wanderer is, nice little burst ability. But the Edge Counter is also a lot of fun, too. I love the idea of that ability, how you kind of have to time that with certain things. And actually, there are a couple of projectiles here. Well, I guess only...
Yeah, there are.
Gauntlet's the one that stands out a lot.
Yeah, Monster Farms spells or charge shot.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Should be dodgeable as well. I mean, Nomad is usually like you can be smart to pick it up versus heroes like the Pharaoh and Corrupted Disciple that got those pending abilities like Hellfire and what is Corrupted Ultimate, Corrupted Overload, because you cannot stop those. So it's a free edge counter every single time they activate that ability. I mean, you can just wait for the right moment to activate your edge counter, and it's gonna hit.
Huh. Nice. Oh, wow, Master of Arms. He almost got in a bad spot there, but he's going to hide in the trees, and
Oh, Bubbles! He could have gone for it. I mean, he could have gone for it. I don't know if he had full vision on the ground courier. Yeah, he used the shell surf. He would have been in range if he teleported, but I guess he was afraid of actually getting first blooded.
That is a ground courier. I thought that was a flying courier, actually, because it's on a freaking carpet.
It's on a flying carpet.
Carpet, yeah. You figure that's a flying courier. No, but... no, it is a ground courier. That would have been an easy kill.
It's a low flying carpet.
Yeah, it only goes so high, I guess. It ain't Aladdin style here, so. Okay, though. It looks like Complexity, they are going aggressive yet again. Or we did see Alaskan at least from Mystery Gang, I guess, so. But now it's Complexity's turn here. With Moira and Magnus up here with that Parasite. Mystery Gang going to be running a trial-in themselves, really, with a pseudo-trial-in of Ophelia up here. And Rhapsody with the Master of Arms. Uh-oh, MOA, wow. He's going to try to stop Magnus there. He's going to take a stun from Moira, but...
It's going to take a lot of damage, and he only got Blights. Damn, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, no quick burst heal. Needs to be careful with that now. You see Parasite, not much Rhapsody can do.
Yeah, I mean, this Master of Arms, though, I mean, the damage that he took from that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Parasite almost gonna try to sneak on, get a first blood. Not gonna be successful though, but nice try by what you got.
Yeah. You did see Forgotten One putting the Ward of Sight on to block the camp, but obviously the first spawn did happen, so Parasite was able to farm it up, at least get level 2 initially. Now he's going to rotate back to his own jungle, though. I guess feeling like he wasn't going to have the greatest time up there. Going to go to his own jungle where he is going to find Ophelia, so this could get interesting. Right here, in fact, infest the Skeleton King.
He's going to get it.
That sucks. And now Ophelia's hating life.
Bubbles, yeah, they're not going to be able to get her.
It's a lot of harassment, though. A lot of downtime here for Ophelia. She's still level 1, and obviously, yeah, she hasn't even got a creep kill yet. It's still 0 experience, so.
And she's not going to be able to find anything in her own forest. I mean, they just warded up every single camp. Missed it.
Not a friendly game for EU Bro here on the Ophelia. So not as bad as the start as to the first game, you know, with the kills happening right off the bat, but it's still not the friendliest. However, let's look at the other lanes here. Gauntlet, ooh, nice hook right there from Just, man. Obviously,
what the hell does he already have 370 gold per minute?
Who, Gauntlet?
That's insane.
No.
No, sorry, I was looking at a bot lane.
Nomad.
On the Nomad.
Oh, wow, you're right. He is
385 gold per minute.
Kill.
Like, what? That's like, yeah, it has to be absolutely perfect. I mean, he's almost reaching 400 gold per minute this early on.
That's insane. Yeah, there's no kills or anything. It's ridiculous.
408 gold per minute after 240 with only last hits. Like, that's absolutely crazy.
Does he have like Merrick's bounty on him or something? No, nothing like that. Yeah, no, he's pretty much
mid lane.
Middle lane, yeah. You see Bubbles got hooked in, but he is going to survive. So Just Man on top of these hooks here, but in the end, Bubbles able to avoid it. You would think Bubbles, just like the Prisoner matchup as well, should be decent against Gauntlet, but Just Man actually performing pretty well. 17-2 here against a 9-2 Bubbles. Is that surprising to you? That he's doing so well?
Not too much, actually. I think the Gauntlet has a way better time than Prisoner does, simply because, first of all, the hook is more or less instant, so it's much harder to actually take cover, so Bubbles can't feel as comfortable. And, of course, all the damage is in Gauntlet's Q ability and not in the hook. So, besides from Prisoner, who has, like, as long as you take cover his hook, like, then he's not going to deal any damage. But Gauntlet, even if you take cover his hook, I mean, he's still going to be able to run just straight onto you, because his Q gives movement speed as well.
Okay.
And of course you got Enfeeble as well that makes the whole, oh, and there's another hook.
Hit it right there. Yeah, another shell surf away, but he is having a tough time with it. I guess that is the difference, though, at the same time, where Gauntlet doesn't have the shackle to apply. Where obviously,
yeah, but Bubbles can just, a shell surf out of the shackles.
That's
it doesn't
right.
matter.
Yeah. See, I still don't think that should be allowed, but yeah, right. I always
Yeah,
forget
I
about
agree.
that. But that's true. That's for some reason it doesn't work. Anyways, Rhapsody is gonna get caught here. That's a dead Rhapsody. Bloodlust kill will come out for Complexity.
And it goes to Bubbles as well. That's so big for them. I mean, he was struggling here in the mid lane, but now he's going to get his Marchers on top of that bottle already. Nice
Nomad.
rotations by Complexity.
Yeah, indeed. Nomad just continuing to also have a very good time here at this bottom lane. You got Warbeast. He's getting some okay levels, but obviously when it comes to farm, not really doing a whole lot. Nomad's not too worried. Nomad already with the Ghost Marches. And again, he actually deals a lot of burst damage this early on even.
I didn't think he was going to be able to win this matchup this heavily, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it comes down to Fistmeister not being used to playing Warbeast Suicide. I don't think he's a Suicide player in core, but still, I mean, Nomad, I expected him to have a struggle a little bit more versus the Wolves.
Intrigued to see what he goes for. I know there's different styles. Obviously, again, a hero that we've never seen apparently on record on competitive scene, so you kind of have to go off the TMM style builds to an extent. And I've seen things from Helm of the Black Legion early on to even Assassin Shroud to, the Rift Shard to, knowing Formless, though, Frostburn wouldn't be a bad option. So is there something that you just think is more the obvious and what we should see here?
I think he's going to go for the, I think he's going to go for the Shroud.
Okay.
I don't think there's any question about it. I think he's going to go straight up for a freaking Shroud.
So just playing more
it's
of
Formless as well. Yeah, he's just going to go for the whole gank setup with his teammates as well. I mean, Magnus, Bubbles, Parasite, Mora just screams offensive ganks.
That's not usually Complexity, though. That's what's throwing me off, though. It's usually they would, like, hell, honestly, I know this isn't typical, but Rune Cleaver. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, knowing it's Formless playing it here. So, it's going to be interesting to see how he follows up these Ghost Marchers.
I mean, he could go for Rune Cleaver, but I don't think that it fits their lineup that well. And I also feel like if they make it through like 15-minute mark, then they got this game. Like, Hellborn team is very committed to the push, and as long as they just shut down that, then Complexity Gaming should be fine. So I don't see him, or I don't think that he should go for the Rune Axe, even though he picked up a Life Cube now. So he's definitely going to go for it. I don't like it, though. I think that Shroud would have been so much better.
Or there's even Nullstone. I know that's an item that can be seen on Nomad, too. Again, seems like there is a lot of options, honestly, in the here like this. Especially for how often we do not see him. So, but, I mean, I'm looking at the Hellborn team right now. Nullstones, would it really be that great? Nah, it's give and take. There's a couple things that obviously it's great against. The Gauntlet Blast being the obvious one there, but Staccato and MOA as a way, so you obviously got Ophelia. So yeah, I don't know if it would be the greatest option here. Nomad, but okay. Well, there are other heroes in this game, so let's take a look at how.
Oh, Magnus Eruption at the top lane is going for the big play.
He is. He gets the kill. So Ganondorf gets taken out right there. Oscar now going to try to run away, and he should be fine. Ophelia only has a Vagabond leader. Wow, still does a lot of damage, but unfortunately not enough chase in the end. So does get away. Man, that's a solo kill from Magnus as a suicide on the Master of Arms. That's
Rhapsody
big.
and Ophelia was coming in to gank, so Master of Arms were playing really offensive. He tried to scout out the Magnus. He did not see the Eruption coming, though. Oscar was just playing for one step ahead of him at that point, using the Eruption in the fog and then getting a full Eruption on. And now, like, the push is happening still. Magnus is going to port back in, though, with the Lava Surge. Ophelia needs to be careful. I mean, she's tanking the tower. I almost feel like Oscar could have manned up a little bit more than he did.
Yeah, it's a lot of creeps here, but with the Steam Bath and the tower just about dead, that might not have been a bad option. They don't have any kind of dust, it looks like, but yeah, in the end, he chooses to play it very safe there. Going to be fine. Bottom lane in the meantime, Gauntlet's in trouble. You see Nomad going in with a Mirage Strike. He does have the edge counter, not even necessary, though, apparently. Gauntlet goes down. Bubbles assisting with the haste as well as Parasite. Diving in between the towers to do that. You see Warbeast, he was back at base regenning. I saw earlier he got very low, forced to use his Metamorphosis to get away. And so Gauntlet hanging around, unfortunately, backfires for him. So more good news for Complexity as Nomad's farm continues to sit around that 400 GPM here at this point. And the tower kill not going to happen just yet. Going to maybe wait for another push here. In fact, this is probably going to be it, though. Hell Cannon from Parasite being controlled.
Yeah, Warbeast, he's rotating now, and I think that's the right decision. They should just group up as 5, this Hellborn team, and try to get towers, because if they don't get towers soon, then this game is gonna end at that 15-minute mark. Like, they have to put pressure on. Like, they need the Astro onto Ophelia as soon as possible, and then they need to get base towers.
Yeah.
Just try to get one side of Rax at least, because otherwise Nomad is just gonna 1 versus 5 those guys when he gets, if he now goes for that Rune Axe timing, then it's definitely the right decision to just push as much as possible. Oof. And then they get denied.
God, that was
that's
not
not
easy.
allowed to happen.
It's not allowed to happen, but that is credit to Regrossi right there. That was not easy. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Nomad is going to fall. Gauntlet goes in. The edge counter was not able to be used right there. I don't know if it was lack of mana or just didn't find the timing for it, or maybe just simply got locked down. I was watching the middle push happen, so not too sure how he ultimately died right there, but that's a big kill as well. From,
yeah, I think it was, or I would have assumed that it was tanking the tower at least, and then it was a blind hook coming from the fog into that Inferno or Gauntlet Blast, just finishing him off. I mean, Nomad is really squishy of a hero. Sure. 750 HP. That's usually why the hero is not picked in the competitive scene, because if you got AoE stuns versus that, you can just burst him down in a second. Like, all that you need is like 1 Magmus and a Pyromonster support, and that Pyromonster support is just more or less bursting down the entire HP pool from Nomad.
See, this is as great as this Nomad pick is, entertainment purposes, if anything. This was my huge concern, is that now Mystery Gang is starting to group up, do the whole push thing. He brings nearly nothing in terms of, pretty much nothing, in terms of counter push goes. So, I don't know about this now, especially with him going that greedy build as you were talking about too, with the Rune Cleaver. This could be an issue.
Don't agree with that build at all. He's gonna be so useless in those team fights. And this fight, and this game is all about the team fights, all about pushing. Legion team is doing a good job counter pushing though. They're gonna get the tier 1 tower up here at the top lane as well. Oscar is securing that one. So this is almost favoring Complexity as it's progressing right now.
Yeah. It is interesting actually that Complexity's doing trade for trade, and yeah, it does seem like that actually is to their benefit. So that's maybe a little bit on Mystery Gang there for perhaps getting a little too tunnel vision in their task, and ultimately
it took a little too long for them to actually group up. Like, if you're going for this kind of push, like, you need to use 100% of your abilities on that creep wave and just get it down instantly. But instead we're just like farming the forest and pushing a little bit semi-hardcore instead of just going all in on the towers. So Complexity, nice job on their part, getting 2 towers, or actually 3 towers for 2.
There's a lot of gold in this game right now, I'll say that. It's actually just been, he finds Bubbles right here, Ophelia assisting. Bubbles did not really have the most time to react right there. Takeover only level 1 as well. Not giving him a whole lot of mitigation right there in terms of not letting damage happen to him. So he gets picked off, down for another 20 seconds here, but just, man, continuing to show why he's kind of gotten this this history title of, you know, being a very good Gauntlet player amongst a couple other heroes.
Oscar must have more items in the base, right?
It feels like he's not really having a lot. And 340 gold per minute. Did he buy the PK? Okay.
Oh, he already got his PK?
That makes more
sense.
Damn. Yeah, there you go.
Alright, now it's gonna be tricky. The Hellborn team, they do have the Ophelia's touch, and they did just pick up the Astro, and they got Protected Melody from Rhapsody as well, but pushing into a Magmus Eruption, especially if he hits level 11 in the near future, that's going to be close to impossible.
Yeah.
Especially when there's a kelp field setting it all up for them.
Well, that's the real Moira, by the way. Baba Ganoush. Yeah, that's not happening. Trying to TP out. That obviously wasn't even close. Just man picks him off. You got to wonder if they maybe picked up on that Ward of Sight being placed too, if they checked the inventory and saw that it was missing after. You know, making plays like that, though, it's not the easiest. Yeah, I don't see a rep work coming on the courier, so maybe didn't. So that's still some decent vision, at least, for Complexity out of that death right there that they got.
Yeah, and I almost feel like, I mean, that even favors Complexity. The fact that there are 4 people up there just running off their Mora level 4, like, that kills means nothing at this point. They need to get towers, like, they need to get base towers even. They need to get racks if they want to win this game. Because there's a clock and it's ticking. And now they ported bottom to try to defend instead. Gauntlet got a Polki. He's going to try to one-shot Formulas, I guess.
Now there is backup, obviously. There's the jump. Nomad is squishy, as you talked about. Out comes the edge counter. It does activate right there. And Gauntlet's going to end up falling. Rhapsody was caught by it as well. She's going to be fine in the background. Kelfield catches her, though. And now Master of Arms, it's his turn to be chased down. Mana Sunder doing a little bit of work. Another TP. That one's going to be canceled, though. It looks like they just may continue pushing top in the end. As they lose 2 heroes, they're definitely going to lose a tower now as a result of this. They do get the secondary tower top, but Warbeast and Ophelia do not have any homecoming stones. So they're kind of in an interesting spot here. It's like, what do you do? Do they push the base? You can't really now. TP's coming back. Maybe go middle.
You have to go back. No, you're just going to have to rotate or get back to your own forest and wait for the other ones to resurrect. That was a very, very greedy option from Myst. That's exactly what you're not supposed to do at that point.
Yeah.
Like when you have a push ability or when you have a push team, you never want to port back to actually defend your own towers. You want to force the enemy team to be the ones to port home. Especially when you have a Warbeast and an Ophelia. They cannot really port to aid anything. I mean, Warbeast can port in, but he's not going to be able to do too much. And Ophelia, of course, cannot bring her to creeps. So they're always going to be in a disadvantage if they do something like that.
Yeah.
Nice heads up, though, by Complexity. I'm not sure if they were baiting it a little bit, but Oscar was actually staying in the fog, and he jumped almost instantly to get rid of that hook ability from Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. That's also where, I mean, it is good to have some initiation, so, it's definitely not a bad pick here, but that's also where it is a little funky at the same time with that Gauntlet pickup, where, he's the idea. In that case, you don't want to try to catch them and get a jump right there, but, yeah, the team backup, not necessarily the quickest. I mean, this is not a very great follow-up team to Gauntlet. I mean, Ophelia, Warbeast, Master of Arms, and Rhapsody don't necessarily have that big jump in themselves or, that big burst follow-up, really, so... Yeah, the more I am thinking about it now, whether or not the Gauntlet pickup was proven to be the best option for them, I guess time will tell here a little bit more, but definitely not the case there.
I think the Gauntlet pickup was fine. He just must have been playing it really well as well, getting those pickups in the mid, putting a lot of pressure on the enemy team. But I think that the Master of Arms is the big mistake here. I don't think that you should go for this kind of semi-hardcore push or push drafts. If you're actually going to go for it, then you should just go 5-man. Like, that's doing really well. Mm-hmm. And I think that Soul Reaper would have been so much better, not only because the fact that, he synergizes with his spells. The heal, of course, heals up the wolves and the Ophelia creeps, but on top of that, he can also pick up what's the item that I'm looking for? The Gnome's Wisdom into like a barrier idol. And Master of Arms, even though he can pick them up, he's not going to benefit from them as much as a Soul Reaper would. So yeah, not as much our items now, not as much sustain heal, and the fact that they cannot push fast enough. I mean, the fact that they have to port back to base and actually defend their own towers, that's not a good sign. Mm-hmm. It's been twice now in a row that they have actually been forced to lost those kind of push trades.
And right now, Complexity, this game is only 15 minutes in. It honestly feels like it's even a little bit further progressed, but it just about now 15 minutes in. Obviously, a couple of pauses here. I've slowed that down a little bit too, but Mystery King, though, yeah, we definitely saw in that last fight the idea of the lack of really being able to effectively TP, and yeah, when Gauntlet did go in the first place too was obviously very early, and the TP support wasn't even there in the first place just yet. So, looking at that decision as well, obviously maybe just could have been a little more patient with the circumstances there. So a lot of tower kills though happening for either side at only 15 minutes in. In fact, both teams are just down to the 1 tower left as far as outside of the base. That really is crazy in itself. The fact that we already have 10 tower kills at 15 minutes in between both of the teams right here, 5 for each. So not something you would see often, but obviously that's kind of the pace of the game here, and thus why we do have a lot of gold in this game. I mentioned that earlier as well. You have, 4, 5, 6... 7 even. Wow. 7 heroes that are 300 plus gold per minute in this game right now. Nomad is really up there, obviously, at 522, but a lot of gold being infused into this game. Thus, bigger and better items.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually the strategy behind those kind of push strats. Like, that you want to get as much gold as possible to your team, because usually complexity, or like during normal circumstances, the enemy team shouldn't be allowed to take 5 towers themselves up at the 50-minute mark. They should be limited to 1 or 2 if you push fast enough, or if you make the correct rotations and the correct like timing pushes. Then the enemy team shouldn't be allowed to get 5 towers, and then you are the ones that have 4 heroes on top of 300 plus gold per minute. And you get the Astro first, and then the enemy team is not going to be able to team fight. You can take Congors and get a token of life and just roll from there. But yeah, Complexity Gaming, they've been playing really well and just countered the Mystery Gang strategy quite well here.
Definitely intrigued to see how Formless progresses with his farm. Again, knowing that was the thing we were talking about, he's different style of builds we could expect to see, but being Formless, would not be surprised to see that Rune Cleaver, and sure enough, he does go for it. And you know, mana regen also is decent to have on the hero, so that's where the Rune Cleaver also does provide a little bit nice for a hero like Nomad. But how is he going to follow up this Rune Cleaver now? Because he is still very squishy, in fact, at this point. So honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised to still see him now follow up with the Helm of the Black Legion to kind of negate that idea that he's very squishy, because he still will do a lot of burst damage even with an item like Helm because of his skill set. Yeah, that's
will. I mean, this is all about surviving as well. Like, I think that the Hellborn team got one more push in them, but if they were to fail that, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the GGs being called.
Yeah.
So if he goes for Helm and just tries to be the tanky presence in the team fight, I think that he could go for that Abyssal Skull as well. Get a little bit of lifesteal and also tank up with that physical armor.
Ooh, yeah. I like the Abyssal Skull idea. Seems like that could be pretty good, actually. So, yeah, Master of Arms doing the minus armor thing, and Warbeast also providing plenty of physical. Middle lane, Bubbles! That was interesting. He got hit by the Gauntlet Blast, but...
takes cover off to the Gauntlet Blast instead.
Yeah. Didn't matter, though, as they fell back beforehand. So, something else, too, that Quincy did point out that I wanted to reiterate as well was... Nomad, with this pick, apparently the only hero now on record that we have not actually seen in tournament that's eligible is Hammerstorm. And that's just shocking to me. I cannot believe that. I need to play in a competitive match, apparently, to make it done, because wow, Hammerstorm is the only hero of all the heroes. We've seen Rampage before Hammerstorm. I mean, come on. We've seen Rampage before Hammerstorm.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I actually think that Hammerstorm could be viable. It's not that weak. I mean, you can run it as both a farming tool and support as well. Like in the dual lane in the mid, for example, it deals tons of damage in early game with that Hammerstone.
Yeah.
It might not be as crazy, and it's very easy to dodge. That's the thing. Like, when you draft it, you have to like draft it 4th or 5th, because otherwise enemy team picks up a hero like Bubbles, and then she can just take cover. The very, very visible animation from that hammer throw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised to see it last. It definitely doesn't deserve the last place, at least.
the last one to be picked up on the competitive scene. Well, that's the case. Somebody really should just pick it up here in the near future just to get that done with. I'm just saying. Anyways, Master of Arms gets that token of life right here as they kill Conqueror. Bubbles caught, and this time Gauntlet makes sure the execution's there, which it is. So that time I'm guessing he hit the hook. He caught that kind of halfway through, but using that portal key, Just Man continues a little bit of momentum there. But Mystery Gang, again, has the token of life now. So we'll see what they can make of that. Cannondorf, we really haven't talked too much about him on Master here. He's got a very kind of early item build here, a lot of utility. Actually, top lane, Rhapsody ran into a trap as she's picked off.
Yeah, once again, I'm not entirely sure what the Hellborn team is aiming for here. Why are they going for these kind of like, I don't know, Rhapsody was going for a gank attempt right there, trying to spot out the Moira in the forest, but like Hellborn team, don't they realize that it's so obvious that they're not going to win this if this game progresses another 5-10 minutes? Like, look at this Nomad, he got a Runed Axe. He's like, this is the time to strike. Like, if he gets a BKB or if he gets a Shroud, the game just becomes so much more difficult. And Magnus is going to add up on those levels, so is the Bubbles. If he gets a Polki as well on the Bubbles, which he's going to have here now, then it's just like it's gonna be impossible to break the base, and they don't really have any late game carry to fall back on. They got Monster of Arms and War Beast, but War Beast is like on 270 gold per minute, and Monster of Arms, like if you compare him to a Nomad, and with all that magic damage coming out from Magnus and the bubbles in the team fights, like there's no way he's gonna be able to stand a chance.
Yeah.
He's gonna be two-shotted more or less from this Nomad.
Yeah. No, it does seem like right now. Oh my God! What a catch from Chessman. He needs to follow up though. Out comes the edge counter. Gauntlet's or Nomad's gonna run and he's gonna survive. That was a huge hook from Gauntlet, but that was blind. Yeah, they don't have vision over here. That really was a blind hook that also got him. But man, just not enough follow up to secure the kill. And obviously that would have been a huge one, but not the case. But yeah, definitely to reiterate the point you're making there is. Yeah, where the game's scaling right now, I do agree that definitely complexity seems like it's going to just work out better as this game moves on. You know, if it was even footing, then maybe a little bit of a different story. But 2,500 gold, though, on Master of Arms, so you got to figure maybe his damage choice is going to be coming up. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go for something like a Shrunken Head here, knowing that there's just a lot of fights happening in this game right now. But
yeah, not entirely sure what he could go for. I mean, Barrier Idol as well. He has tried to go for that all-in push. Like, they need to break Brace, they need to Rax right now if they want to be able to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Legion team though. I mean, look at the counter push that's happening. Like, the Hellborn team have to commit 100% onto this defensive tower. There's no other way. You cannot port back at this point.
Oh, they do port back top. No, Parasite just takes over the creep, so he's still up here. They're still going. I'm looking at that TP situation. Everyone has one? Yeah, they do all have one. No, Warbeast. No, Warbeast does. Okay. So they all have one. Now, you do got to be a little careful about that, obviously. Bubbles can definitely stop it with a Kel field if you're not careful in terms of TPing back. So definitely this is an interesting spot to be in. You see Nomad, he's still pushing. Meanwhile, a fight somewhat breaks out. Bubbles going to be caught him right there. Bubbles dropping quickly. He is going to fall, actually. Now, Nomad does take out the bottom tower, and now he's going for the melee racks. And you can see Mystery Gang. They're still not TPing back. Finally, Master's going to teleport. Jeez, took a while, but finally happens. Meanwhile, there's still some left behind. And actually, Magnus catches Ophelia here. There's the hook from Gauntlet to help keep her away, but Moiro chasing. They still want more. And Parasite also nearby. Ophelia is going to be picked off. Warbeast. He should. No, Magnus catches him, actually. A blind stun from Magnus catches Warbeast. However, the Metamorphosis, and he'll jet on out of there. That was interesting. Complexity, though, I think they got the better of it, definitely.
Oh, yeah, big time. I don't get why the Hellborn team is supporting back. I mean, there is, like, you don't want to lose the melee racks, but at the same time, like, you're not going to get a better opportunity than that. They just need to go all in. They got to pick off the bubbles. So it was only 3 people defending the base. As long as they keep track on where Magnus is located, then they're not going to be caught off guard by some kind of big eruption. So they should have just committed 100%, I feel, to that melee racks. Even if they were to trade lanes, let's say Complexity were to get the bot racks and they were to get the mid, then at least you can push bottom next as Mystery Gang. I mean, you can just go towards the melee creeps and just try to get a second set of racks. They just need to get 1 set of racks at least in the near future. Like, look at the Nomad now, like Shield Breaker as well, reaching like 600 gold per minute. I'm pretty sure that if he just goes for a BKB, then he's going to be able to more or less like 1 versus 5 the enemy team.
I do find it interesting, though, at the same time that Nomad obviously is a carry potential hero, sure, but at the same time he's one that can snowball very well and does a lot of earlier damage and can burst heroes down and, you know, can farm off of getting hero kills, definitely playing that style. But he only has 1 kill and 2 assists so far, and those came earlier on in the game, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since he's actually had a kill in this game. Now, to be fair, again, there's not a whole lot of kills happening in this game. And Mystery Gang is sticking together a lot because of their strategy. So I think that may be the biggest thing as to why he may not necessarily be getting a lot of kills that he's involved in. But, hey, he's managing to farm very well. Obviously, the Rune Cleaver helping with that, as he does nearly hit that 600 GPM mark here.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to. I mean, as long as the Hellborn team doesn't keep pressure up, I mean, there's no reason for why he should. He got the Rune Cleaver. He's definitely going to scale better into the late game. 600 gold per minute mark crossed right there on him as well, and he's just going to keep putting pressure up on this bot lane. I mean, the Hellborn team is making it way too obvious that they are looking to push top now. I don't know why they're doing that or why they're farming the forest at all. They're not close to any item timings at all. Monster Farms got its Nullfire Blade. Gauntlet got 2.1k gold, but there's nothing that he really needs to save up for. They should just go. Go, go, go.
Not really going, though.
No, I don't know. They're still split.
Yeah, they're still a little unsure of what they ultimately want to do here. You see Master is pushing it out top, but just really kind of baiting him. Warby's sitting really far back, and that's not a hero, though, that's going to be able to, like, jump in and counter anyone that jumps Master of Farm. So it almost seems a little funky what they're trying here, but you know, he is going to
nice
fall
stat
back.
by Quincy. What's that? What's the experience?
Bob Ganeer's a chance. What is he? Wow, 102. Yeah.
And what game was that? That I'm curious about.
You have the lowest XPM game on record. That's awesome. Wow. Well, we said he wasn't really finding kills. He found one right there. I'm going to go ahead and say he two-shot Master of Arms. Yes, technically it was 3 auto attacks, but the third one was like 50 damage left. 50 life left. So, yeah, that's how much damage he's doing here in this game. He fans Master of Arms.
The Hellborn team is going to go out without even taking a clash or without even making a serious push attempt.
Oh my gosh. Edge counter, edge counter, edge counter. He's spamming it. Nope, ain't going to happen. And he goes down. Well, he's dead. Meanwhile, bottom lane, as you're pointing out, Range Rex does go down. A little awkward there, as you usually want to get the melee first. But Moira's going to fall as they pour it in to save the day. And Magnus, he's going to be getting away now. So, I mean, Mystery Gang, they actually do quite a bit of work right there. Again, I'm still just shocked the range racks went down first instead of the melee racks. That never really happens.
No, I'm not entirely sure why that was. Maybe the creeps were just focusing on the range racks, and then Parasite decided to help them finish it off. Of course, the range racks got lower armor value than the melee racks, 10 less, so it goes faster. But yeah, melee racks, of course, 4 creeps for 1.
So, as impressive as it was to see Nomad's burst there on MOA initially, it once again goes back to, though, we do see how squishy he is, as Parasite is found here at the bottom lane, and not too sure how that really happened, but my guess would be that Gauntlet got him initially. And
somehow, yeah. But it also goes back to the formless build with him being squishy. Like, this guy is going for the greediest build that's possible. I mean, Assassin Shroud, Shieldbreaker, Rune Cleaver. He could have easily just gone for a Helm instead, like, or an Abyssal Scalp, anything like that, and he would have been a lot more tanky. But he's just gonna go for full out on the farm and the damage.
Yeah. That again, that kind of continues to be almost my issue that I was kind of getting at earlier, was that this is a very I'm going to constantly roam around, get kills kind of build, and okay, yeah. He just nearly one-shot Gauntlet there. Oh boy, I mean, Magnus set that up with a stun, and I guess Gauntlet wasn't full life by any means, but still was funny. So yeah, this game's just going to be a lot of who's going to find the other by themselves. Who's going to get the better catch is really what this game's coming down to right now, as both teams have had several opportunities now.
Yeah, well, even, I mean, it's too late now, though, for the Hellborn team to actually, like, be able to win this game. Like, even if they get 1 or 2 pickoffs, then the rest of their squad is just 2 farms, so they're going to be able to counter push faster than the Hellborn team can actually move over to the Legion base.
Yeah.
So even if they get 1 or 2 pickoffs, like, it's not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to do anything. They need a complete genocide if they want to actually turn this game around.
Oh, wow. Nomad picking off one of the Ophelia creeps right there. As you do see Plated Greaves, the Soul's Bulwark on Ophelia, so very good items to have against that Nomad here, no doubt. Rhapsody, by the way, the Void Talisman, another great item to have. Bubbles middle lane, he has the Haste Rune. He's going to be fine in the end. Gauntlet a little too far away, I guess. I just didn't feel comfortable right there. He has an Arcana on Gauntlet, by the way, so trying to get that Hellflower, but still a little bit of ways off. Needs the 2 more. And only 1,200 gold saved up. Moira, Ward of Sight here in the middle lane. They're thinking about trying a Conqueror attempt, but not necessarily going to be happening just yet. As Nomad will instead port top lane. So, man, it really does feel like this game is actually a lot later on than it is. It is only 28 minutes in right now, so But what did I just see? Is that a full demonic on... Wow, it is. A full demonic breastplate on Magnus. Just picked up. He's 3-0-4, so Oscar has actually had a pretty decent game here.
What is Parasite building into then? Was you thinking about the same thing?
That
Maybe
might
it's miscommunication.
be the case. Yeah, that or I guess barbed armor is his other option.
If you could have used it in your creep, then maybe.
Yeah. Mid up our bottom lane, Master of Arms. Deep in the Master Call comes out though. Face Hug was already used. And now he's going to look for a turn even. That's why you got the hook comes in. Beautiful hook again. Just, man, he's clearly one of these new players on the scene that is, he's going to be a new hooker on the scene as far as playing these hook heroes very well. So, oop, that puzzle box smaller.
Draft Gauntlet in a little bit more of a, like, serious lineup.
Yeah.
Or not serious lineup, but one where he can actually, like, have a team that aids him.
Yeah, this is definitely not that
more.
synergy. You're right. But, yeah, no, he's definitely landed some pretty big hooks this game, including another one right there.
Yeah, some amazing ones, really.
Sets up another easy kill. 2,400 gold on Master of Arms. He did get the level 2 no Fireblade. It looks like he's just going to try to save up for that full Shrunken here. As Genjiro is now finished on Nomad. So, I mean, I guess a little more armor coming from that, to be fair, and another charge on the Invis is nice, but again, a very aggressive mindset continues as Magnus, bottom lane, drops Ophidian at the top lane. Cannondorf is picked off. I'm guessing that was it a two-shot? Yeah.
He just runs straight in. Like, he can get 2 crits off now if he uses both the Enduro charges as well.
True.
It's just
middle
insane.
lane. This is not good. Ophidia, ooh, the Magma Stone just a little too far. And that's going to miss, so. But yeah, it's a greedy build, sure, continues from Nomad, but yeah, he's kind of a hero that could almost, it actually can work on because he can two-shot you. That's what it comes down to, is that the fact that he has the skill set with this kind of build to just two-shot you, so the fact that he's really squishy isn't necessarily a big deal.
Well, if there would have been up versus a little bit more of an AoE kind of lineup, or if the game would have been a little bit more even, then I think that this build would have been a disaster.
Oh, yeah,
but,
absolutely.
In this game, of course, yeah.
Well, just, man, he's going to try to make a big play right here. Does he? He does! He tilts a Toka, but he dies immediately, and I don't know if he's getting out of this one. He hooks away, but it doesn't matter.
Damn,
wow.
that burst ability.
That was 1,000 crit from Nomad as soon as he resurrected with that token alive. So, a hell of an attempt, but doesn't.
He's got a buyback at least, so maybe the Hellborn team can try to make a stand. Monster Farm's got one as well.
Yeah, no, he kept the token out of their hands, so it's still not, definitely not the worst case there for Mystery King by any means. And at this rate, he may just be able to resurrect, unless they want to defend the melee racks. He needs to buy back now if they want any chance of defending this. Apparently they don't. Invulnerability, not even up, so they'll just let it fall. At that point, 2 hits later, make it 3. Ophelia's dead. And that Sandstorm as well.
She had the armor boots and a bulwark, so
yeah.
That's why it takes 3 instead of 2 this time.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, so the Sandstorm also kind of makes it, again, with the single target abilities, you want to try to save Ophilia. Well, you can't because you can't target him, so.
Yeah, that's true. The only hero that can actually catch him somehow was dead.
So yeah, they need those ref words. They need the dust. They need a bound eye, which they don't really have much of, at this point. They do got the rev word, I guess. Well, they are once again trying to persevere right here, but it's continuing to be a tough task. Another rev word goes down, and Nomad is going to be spotted. Moira jumps in aggressively. They will catch Rhapsody, and oh, Nomad got hooked in at. That's the illusion Nomad, wasn't it? Yep. They thought they got the real one, but they did not. Master's dead, Gauntlet's dead, and the rest, well, they start buying back right here as Warbeast was caught in the Arcane Vortex. He's a couple shots later, is dead. Quad kill coming out. We're going to see an annihilation here from Formless and possibly continuing as they're diving into the well now. There's the Gauntlet into the well, and Nomad will finally fall, actually, as they get some bonus gold. So, and again, actually, considering they got no more tower kills even out of, let alone Rax kills, that's not the worst case there.
They're going to get Parasite here. Oh, no, my moment's going to come in.
Maybe not. Master of Arms, he needs to be careful himself. Eruption was late, and that should be the end of it, it looks like. Oh, Gauntlet? No, it's not going to hit. Well, that's some bonus gold right there for, who got it? Cannondorf? Yeah. Still trying to finish that Shrunken of his.
I don't think it's going to help too much versus this Nomad now.
That's true. That's a very good point. Supporting cast it will be decent against, but yeah, Nomad, he's not going to really care about it in the end, so something of a concern once again. Another Dancing Blade picked up by Nomad, by the way. He does have a bit of armor now. And a double damage rune. Oh my god.
Nice. Here we go.
Run. Hellborn team sit in the well. This is
there's a
good.
word of revelation here in the mid lane, though. Oh, Nomad's going to
He's going to one-shot somebody. Oh, okay. Well, actually took a couple hits there on Ophelia.
Doesn't matter if you have a Void Talisman if you don't have time to activate it.
That's very true. Master of Arms, they're trying to get some uphill advantage right here, but Nomad's being too safe. Critting for over 1,300 damage now with the double damage rune. So I guess he's going Wingbow here.
Yeah,
Follow
would
up.
assume so.
Which,
He's got it here in 150 gold as well.
Wow, Master chose to go a Brutalizer, by the way. What on earth?
Alright.
I guess with the red gun, it's actually not a bad option. It's just so weird seeing it on range, though.
It's still not a good option.
It's still not a good option, yeah. It's maybe not horrendous, but it's definitely not that great. Anyways, middle lane, we see a jump edge counter, though. That hit multiple heroes, and Nomad's still well alive. The Void Talisman is doing work, but nope, as soon as it wears off, Rhapsody falls. Master's going to die in a couple of auto attacks. He's still alive, but no, he goes down. And you see another Void Talisman, but GGs are being called as, yeah, Complexity, specifically Nomad, is just way too much to handle here. So, well, we got to see Nomad for the first time here on competitive scene, at least on record, and hey, he wins in pretty dominating fashion individually, at least. That was an impressive performance by him as far as where he got with the farm and how quickly he was able to kill heroes.
Yeah, both games 700 plus gold per minute on the carries. Formless is up for playing, and well, Complexity looking really good for whoever they're going to be facing now tomorrow at 18 CET. Of course, Sync versus Reason first, going to have to be decided.
Is there something in Nomad, you think, or is this more of a?
I don't think there's anything to Nomad, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think it's fun seeing it, but I don't think it has a place right now as it is. It's just way too squishy. You can build it with Helm of the Black Legion, and it's got some potential to go for that, Assassin's Shroud and the gank build. But in general, like, it doesn't have a farming ability unless you go for a Rune Axe or a Rune Cleaver. And in a serious game or an even game, I just don't think that there's enough space